All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Hapney, and with me is Dustin. We're both consultants at iShift, where our mission is to simplify complexity. We work with a variety of agencies to tackle tough problems and find a solution that actually fits their needs. And for today, I will walk you guys through on how something like search can change how your users interact with your application. All right. Okay, so first we're going to walk through a use case and learn why searches fail, and we'll learn on exactly what is keyword and semantic search. And then for the first part, I'm going to configure Smart Search live, and then I will also give you a global search pattern. And then for the second half, we're going to show you on how you can customize Smart Search and how you can scale the product. So before we get into the code, let's go into the world of one very busy investigator. So this is going to be our main character for today. He is Agent JJ Chopper, and he's working on many cases, and he's the person that we're going to build Smart Search for. So on a regular day, Jay is juggling around 72 cases. He has to review 500 files, and he's also conducting like 18 interviews, and of course he's drinking 4 cups of coffee to just get him through it. With each case, he has to look through interview transcripts, evidence log, field reports, and just a whole bunch of notes. But today is different, so he just got a new case. In this case, it spans across 15 years, 3 states, and it does include a classic card thief ring. And there's potentially millions in insurance fraud involved. This entire case hinges on one particular reference to a blue sedan VIN mismatch. And of course, this line, it is actually in a PDF that's like 120 pages written in the 1980s by someone who did not like formatting. So if Jay is able to find that reference, then the suspect, he goes down, and then a large paycheck goes back to the agency. If he does not, the suspect walks free and the case just closes. So today we're going to show how search can be fast, trustworthy, and semantic. So Jay starts out and he remembers seeing blue sedan VIN mismatch, and so he searches for that, but the search results gives him nothing back. So before we move on, let's go ahead and align on exactly what is keyword and semantic search. So keyword search is like a literal friend. You tell them, I want pizza, and they just give you one slice. Semantic search is more like a friend that understands you. You tell them, I want pizza, and they give you the whole meal. Smart search is based on similarity and context. So if you write out a keyword, it's going to return to you the relevant content. And this is the type of search that Jay really needs. All right, so what do you need to configure Smart Search? You just need to be on the advanced or premium tier, and your records must be synced. So Smart Search, it does work well with text, and it can do content search within files as well. A few things to note, the file size limit is 10 megabytes for 26.3 version. If you're using an older version, the file size limit is going to be 5 megabytes. And then if your files do have photos, it's not able to read those. So you can actually do your Smart Search within a grid, or you can also call it within a record query rule. All right, so now it's time to build, and we're going to give Jay a way to speed up his entire workflow. So first, we're going to start with keyword search. So this is the typical grid that we usually have, and then we're going to try to search that term, blue sedan VIN mismatch. Okay, and as you can see, we don't get anything back, and this is because keyword search is looking for the exact keyword match. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to build smart search that is going to search on the meaning of what we're searching for. So we're going to start off in the main record. So this is the case record. This is where J is primarily working out of. And then if you have Smart Search available, it's going to be on the left-hand side here, and you can click Smart Search. And then next, you will just choose the fields that you want to use Smart Search in. And in this case, I'm choosing findings, and I do want to show you guys content search as well. And then all you have to do is just hit save, and then you're ready to configure it. So this is going to be the page in where we're going to create our Smart Search grid. And then what I'm going to do next is pass in the case data that we just saw. All right, so now I want to actually pass in the fields that we're going to use for the grid and to return for the search. And there are a lot of fields from the previous record, so I did create a rule, and the rule is just calling all these fields. All right, so we passed in the grid fields, and now we're going to configure the semantic threshold. Okay, so every time you do a search, you're going to get a score between 0 and 1. 0 is completely random, and 1 is an exact match. So that's going to be keyword search. So we want to lower that score. So how do you find a good threshold score? There is a range. So generally, if your threshold score is around 0.8, that's going to be a really strong match. If it's around 0.4 to 0.7, that's going to be a fair match. And then anything lower than 0.3 is probably going to be a weak match. What I recommend is that you probably start out with a score of 0.5, and then if those aren't giving you anything good, you can lower the score. So just know that this is not a hard set rule. Even though it says that 0.8 is a strong match, you might find that for you, it might be 0.3 is actually a really good match, and then like a 0.1 is a bad match. Okay, so for me, I started at 0.5 and I wasn't getting good results, so I lowered it by 1, and then I was getting more relevant data. Okay, next, I want to clean up the grid so it's more readable. So we're going to edit the columns, and I did already create a rule for that. And it just looks like any grid column that you might create. All right, so now we're going to check out the columns that we just configured. Everything on the left-hand side, this is from the case, and then on the right side, these are newer fields if you've never used Smart Search. So content match is where it found that match. So if it found a match on a particular page, then it's going to return the entire page. So you're not going to want to do a sort on this column. Source field is the particular field where it found that match, and then the match quality is that score between 0 and 1. Just to note, the scoring, it doesn't really matter to the users, so we're going to show some colors instead. So if it's like green or blue, that is relatively going to be a better match. Okay, we want to make it easier for J. So we want to return more relevant things at the top. So we're going to add a sort to our grid, and then we're going to sort by the similarity score. So this is a special field, so you're not going to see it in the dropdown, but you can go into expression mode and call it. And then you can index into search results, and for today I'll do all search fields, and then we should see similarity score. If you don't see this, then it means you didn't configure Smart Search, so just go back to your record, just make sure you check them and you hit save. All right, so our grid is looking pretty good. One thing that I do want to note is that if you're searching like, I don't know, like 200,000 rows, it can be a bit slow, so you want to remove things that are not going to be relevant. And in this case, Jay, he doesn't really care about things those are closed, so I'm going to add a filter to the grid. All right, so now it's time to try out our Smart Search. And then I'm going to type in the same word, which is the reference that we're searching for to build this case, blue sedan VIN mismatch. And voila, we get some results, and the most relevant one is going to be at the top. So this is a good start, but if you guys remember, Jay, he has to look through interview transcripts, evidence log, field reports, and so if he has to search all across those, it's more work for him. So what we're going to do next is we're going to explore global search. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the global search pattern. And what we have here is we're going to give Jay one place and where he can search a term, and then it's going to query across all of those records, and then you can show it within a grid, or in this case, a ranked list. So I don't have time to build this from scratch, but if you do want to see the code, just let me know at the end. Okay, so this is our global search, and this is going to query all of those records for us. And we're going to search for the same term that we're still looking for to build that case, blue sedan VIN mismatch. All right, so there you go. As you can see, we have cases, interviews, and nothing on the right-hand side, but it's a better user experience overall. A few things that I do want to note is that you can also chat with the record as well, so I'm going to go ahead and show off the chat. So here we can also use record chat, and then to help Jay build out his case, we'll ask the record, what evidence do we have that links the blue sedan to the fraud network? And then from here, you're able to get a summary that Jay can use to write his report. So if you're just using files, then we can use another chat for that, document chat. And then for this one, we can ask for the content in the document. What does this document say about the blue sedan and its VIN? All right, so here it is referencing the car. And then if we scroll down a bit more, it's going to highlight the VINs. So this is one VIN number, and this is another. All right, so that is global search. And then I'm going to wrap up portion 1. Okay, so I just showed you on what Smart Search can do. Let's go ahead and flip it. So what if you don't have this feature? So that means that Jay is going to have to look through everything himself. And if he's looking through a file that's like 120 pages, and he's scrolling, doing Control F, changing the words, that can take him 4.5 hours. And if you guys remember, Jay, he's juggling 72 cases and 500 documents, so that is a lot of work. And so if you multiply this across teams, that's just not an afternoon's worth of work, but that's an entire week's worth of work. So I do want to highlight that this isn't just about time, but if Jay never finds that reference, then the suspect walks free, agency never gets back their money, the case closes, and that's just because someone couldn't find it in that file. So Appian's Smart Search is able to find it in just 4 seconds, same documents in just 4 seconds. So what I want you to take back is that this isn't just a research project. If you already have the AI package and you're using synced records, then you can create this in just days. Everything is already there. You just have to set it up and configure it. All right, so before I hand it over, just a few tips. My number 1 tip is I would highly recommend that you use the latest version. They have some really great features. So that's going to be 26.3. The second one is that if your Smart Search sync does fail, check if those fields are null. It might not be null safe. The next thing is for your threshold score, just make sure that is lower than 1, because if it's set to 1, then that's going to be a keyword search. And then the last one here is that when you're searching, you want to use maybe a phrase, don't be too vague, but it's also not a chat, so you don't want to ask it questions either. All right, so now I'm going to hand it off, and then we're going to explore on how we can customize this to meet your needs and also how to scale the product.
So thank you very much. Thanks for spending your time with us. That's what we built. If you have any questions, we can answer questions now, or feel free to come up to us after we're done.